fear. That's the only thing you feel when you encounter him. Alone in the darkness, towering over everything else, observing you. No matter how fast you run, no matter how well you hide, he's watching. He's getting closer. And eventually, he gets you. No one knows where he came from, when he first appeared exactly. We don't know his motives, how long it's existed, even if this thing can be considered alive. Almost like a reflection of a bigger being above us unleashing their might upon us. Or maybe it's some lost, wandering, suffering soul. I still remember the first day we encountered that thing at Odo Island, roaring at us. Or should I say screaming? No, it was a roar. But it didn't sound like the usual defiant sounds that animals make when you approach their territory. There was pain in its voice. Pain, dread, terror, and fury. What could be the reason for this thing's suffering? What could we have done to ignite that kind of hatred? Even worse, why exactly does it seem to be targeting us? Scientists have noted its similarities to thought to be extinct creatures. It's possible something prehistoric survived into the modern day, and whatever we did exactly stirred it, angered it. Its body was marked with scars, scorched, burned skin, almost like the same injuries sustained by the survivors of now it all makes sense. The bomb. The same weapon we created in our desperate attempt to end the war. The bomb awakened it. Changed it. If it really was just some undiscovered creature, surviving remnant of our history, he is the last of his kind, and we turned him into the first. We created a monster. And now that monster is punishing us for our sins. I wanted to go back home, but first I went back to Tokyo. I heard a prestigious reporter was heading towards the city, and somehow, some way, I needed to meet him. To tell the story, my story, our story. That was the worst idea I've ever had. Last night he landed in Tokyo Bay. military trying to stop the beast, but no matter how many bombs they dropped, no matter how many bullets they shot, he didn't even flinch. I was there when it happened, when he reached the city, crossing through the flames and the debris. I tried running, tried to get as far away as I could, but only behind me, maybe a few 100 feet back. Black void towering every single building around me, approaching slowly, but somehow keeping up with me. I looked around and saw all these civilians running for their lives. Those who could ran, pushing each other over, screaming with blood-stained faces. But those who couldn't simply fell to their knees and embraced death. I knew I had no chance to escape. I ran into a nearby building to hide, hoping that it would just pass me by. Spare me from his wrath. I ran upstairs, hoping to maybe make it to the roof. Maybe there someone would be able to find me. An evacuation, a helicopter, I don't know. I just ran. As I did, I approached a window. I tried to take a better look at the monster, and that's when it happened. When the monster looked back at me. And out of pure instinct, I looked right into his eyes, and I wish I hadn't. Those eyes, those lifeless, almost doll-like eyes. The damn beast was smiling, or at least his deformed jaws appeared to. His eyes were surrounded by sockets of rotten skin. His burned lips barely covered his gaping, deformed teeth. My eyes locked with his. I could sense the pain, the hatred, and the fear. I simply lost control of myself. I started to cry. Somehow that thing looked too human for me. I just couldn't handle it. I covered my head trying to look away from him. And then it happened. A horrible blue light illuminated the sky, and the next thing I remember hearing was an explosion, followed by shattering windows and screaming. And then his scream. The same shriek of horror and death that still lives in my head, haunting me. The last thing I could remember, I was trying to crawl my way out of the rubble, bathed in blood and rain, right before everything went dark. That night I could finally understand the terror the victims of our own devices went through. I have to ask myself, is there really anything we can do to stop him? Or is he truly invincible? Has Judgment Day finally started? I don't know. I don't know, and I can't even comprehend how I'm still alive. Maybe he will fulfill his revenge and wipe us out just like we wiped out his kind. I refuse to believe that there's no hope for us. Maybe somewhere out there, there's someone, a broken man just like all of us, who has the answers to our problems. and would give his life to stop the monster. But maybe that's impossible. Because you can't just kill the boogeyman. You can't bring down a god. You can't defeat Godzilla.